All right. Welcome to another episode of the Genius Digital
hmm
Podcast.
hmm
Today, our guest is Kojo. I don't know how to pronounce your name, Nyanyuie, I don't know.
Ah,
So
that's it. You
you,
said it well. You said it well the first time.
oh,
If you say it
nice.
again, you might ruin it.
Exactly. So intro time. Let's know who you are. Introduce
Yeah,
yourself,
yeah.
and let's move.
My name is Kojo Nyanyuie Dwamako. Nyanyuie means good news. Dwamako means
Oh,
try me and see. Yeah, but
oh,
yeah. Some people call me trying, but that was way back in the university. But I am the founder and creative lead of Good News Limited, and founder
okay.
and co-curator of Knowledge Merchants. Uh, my interest is in telling people stories through whichever
Okay.
publications that are necessary, whether film, graphics, writing, product design, merchandise. Either ways, it's about telling people stories. And my work
Okay.
is set on emerging Africa's rich culture and leveraging these, cross-media strategies to produce content that fits this our current, quick-paced consumption.
Charlie. You
So
sure
that's
say you intellectual, pa? Big brofo, grammar. When the Bab say,
yeah,
consumption all come inside.
yeah. But basically that's what I am to
Oh
to
yeah, yeah.
to create endearing stories that fit, us
Nice.
right now. Basically, that's in simpler
Awesome.
terms. Exactly.
So you mentioned good news and you mentioned the other one,
Knowledge
two
better.
companies, because I know knowledge merchants. So let's take it from the top. Knowledge merchants. What are you guys into?
Okay, so Knowledge Merchants started as an encouragement. In
Okay.
2017, we decided that we needed more people to read, so we started a, a community called Knowledge Merchants where we shared a book a month, and then we encourage people
Yeah.
to read a book during this period. Um,
Uh-huh.
we started with about 524 members globally, and in the beginning, it
Yeah.
was it was amazing. But again, also that's also been one of the most challenging things that I've done because we've been running it for about 6 years, and we have changed the perspective we've streamlined the vision of Knowledge Merchants. At first, it started we just wanted people to read, and then over the years, we've had people read, um,
Mm-hmm.
review the things that they've read and write them down. And this has
Yeah.
in turn turned most of our members to authors. So as we speak right now, we've published
Yeah.
about 18 books with about 12 different
Wow.
authors. Yeah, and we are just set to release a book at the end of the year, at the end of this month. And I'm sure by the close of the year, we would have had a total of about 25 books published and read
Wow.
published by members of the community. So yeah, so
I
that's what
would
the
love to
community
see
is
the
about.
books. Yeah, let's see the book. So I'll add it to the. I don't know. I'll add it to the video for people to see the books you have published.
For
I
sure.
didn't know it was that much. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Charlie,
It's
awesome work.
it's even more because we've also published essays. Um,
Mm-hmm.
we've put together our conversations in various ways. The one thing that we've not done is that because we were focused on building the tribe, our digital
Yeah.
footprint is not as clear. But that's one of the things that we've set out to do this year, to establish our digital footprint so that we can, reach a wider audience, basically.
Audience.
Yeah.
Charlie, that's good to hear.
hmm
Yes, I'll link the books when I get them from you because I know of the book you published one book for Moses, right?
Yeah,
You
we
guys did a Moses
published
book
we
as well.
published two books for Moses. We
Yeah.
published
By the
uh
way, guys, Moses is Moses B. Arthur. We'll have him on the show soon. So
yeah, that's my brother. We published uh, one of our co-curators, who's Kwame A. Opoku, features Kwame. We published most of his
yeah,
books as well. Our
yeah,
president, Dr. Amani Okra, we are working on his
yeah.
third book right now. We published
Yellow
his books.
me.
Yes, Zoe, who's also a
I
part of
think.
us,
Uh-huh.
we've published some of her books as well. And yeah, and a couple.
You're actually giving me ideas of who to interview next.
Yeah,
That's
yeah. The community
I'll
is
bring them
strong. The
on board.
community is strong.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. Deshi Basara, right? That's
Deshi
the main
Basara, Deshi
person.
Basara. He's written Deshi Basara, House of L. Up is Down and Down is Up is coming out at the end of May. You can pre-order.
Yeah, I think I saw that preview.
Hmm.
I saw that
Hmm.
that book, Charlie.
Hmm.
Good job. So that's all knowledge merchants.
Yes,
Interesting.
yes, that's all it is.
And okay, then let's move on to good news. I know good because this is from you, right? This merch.
Yes,
That's like
yes.
everybody.
Outwork everybody.
Media. I'm all about supporting people. So Charlie.
Yeah. Oh, you've been
Yeah.
good. You've been good to us. We appreciate that. Yeah.
Yeah. Tell us about good news. What you do good news to? What it's about and all that.
So Good News started as I started by accident, to be honest. Uh,
Hey. Okay.
yeah, yeah. Good News actually the meaning of my name, Nyanyuie, and that
Oh
is
yeah,
the
yeah.
main
Nice.
avenue through which we I do my storytelling. So it can be
Okay.
in terms of documentaries, audio plays, audio
Mm-hmm.
experiments. We've done a lot of experiments. We publish articles. We interview people. We just try to collect stories from people from directions that people do not usually go to.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so again, that started in 2019. It
Okay.
started with a short video about people carrying their processes, carrying their journeys, whether it was through their failures and their successes, but owning
Mm-hmm.
it and being an embodiment of that. So them being an embodiment of their good news. And so
Oh, okay.
in the telling of the story, we also made merchandise so that when people saw you wearing the merchandise, they can see a
Mm-hmm.
tangible proof or token of the story that you're telling behind it.
You're
So
telling. Right.
that's generally our
Oh,
direction. Yes. So again,
okay.
using like a cross-media perspective of storytelling and clothing, and when they come
Mm-hmm.
together, we can have a conversation about any topic. Um,
Charlie.
there's a lot to say about good news, plenty, because
Yeah.
we've done so much. So if you want to
It's
direct the questions in that area, there's so much to say about
yeah.
good news.
Because
Yeah.
I'm on your IG page and
Hmm.
I see some projects
Hmm.
that you worked on.
Hmm.
Huh. Yeah. So what was the latest thing you worked on? So let's maybe we can talk about the project you worked on last. I think I saw is Mandem remove.
Yes, man,
I
damn,
think that was
man. Yeah, you were
yeah.
there.
So that
You were there at the screening, at the film
yeah, I
screening.
remember that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It was a dream come true. It was very challenging to pull off,
Mm-hmm.
but it was a dream come true because we worked on that project for the entire year. We worked on it for the
Wow.
entire year of 2022. Yeah. Um,
Yeah, because it looked dope, Charlie.
yeah,
Yeah,
thank
really
you.
nice
Thank you.
idea.
Thank you very much. But Mandem was based
Mm-hmm.
on people who find unconventional or non-traditional means to take care of themselves. So these people
Okay.
are orphans, people who do not go through the traditional route of schooling, people who
Mm-hmm.
dropped out, people who lost their parents, or people whose parents did not have to take care of them. So I'm talking about people whose professions at this point are, let's say, chefs, prostitutes,
Mm-hmm.
fraud
Ish.
boys, um,
Yeah, the gangsters, no.
yeah, just
Street boys,
in
street boys,
in our parlance here, we call it the street boys, but
street
collecting the stories
boys.
of these
Mm.
people and how they put themselves together to fend for themselves and the people who look up to them,
Up
and
to them.
how
Oh,
the reason that influenced them to take this path is affecting the way that they are also trying to influence their children and the generation coming after them. So that was what Mandem was generally about.
was about
Yeah.
man them we move.
Yeah,
Okay, that's nice.
Mandem we move.
So in
Hmm.
this thing, what are some of the lessons you learned in this, like these projects for the good news? I mean, the Mandem
Hmm.
project and all that. Like,
Hmm.
if was, I'm sure somebody watching us will want to go into such a business. Like
Hmm.
maybe they like to go into a merch business or
Hmm.
I don't know, design.
Hmm.
Those kind of things. What are some of the things people should look out for? They should skip because in any venture, right, it's best to have
Hmm.
some kind of like I don't know, a mentor or
Hmm.
somebody to tell you that Charlie, this way you know go work, so do them this way.
Hmm.
So what are some of the key things you think somebody should look out for if they want to go into a merch business
Mm,
like this that I'm wearing or I hope you get me.
I do, I do. I think
Yeah.
the most necessary thing is to have a team.
Oh,
Um,
true.
Yes, because
True.
for me, I believe that I learned a lot because I started on my own and I was doing a lot of things on my own. The
Yeah.
blessing and the curse of being able to do a lot of things with your hands is that you want to do a lot of things with your hands. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So you want to be the guy to
Exactly.
shoot the videos. You want to be the guy to edit
Uh-huh.
the videos. You want to be the guy to do the designs for the merchandise. You want to be the guy to do the interview. You want to be the guy to manage the brand, the language, the look, the feel, everything because it's your
Yeah.
idea. But
Mm-hmm.
as soon as you sell your vision to a team and you let them run with their rules, you find that you put yourself in a better position to succeed as a brand in
That's true.
whatever vision that you want to direct the brand towards. So I think that's the first thing that everybody should pay attention to. Have a
Mm.
team, a
Have a team.
trustworthy
Okay.
team. Uh,
Trustworthy team.
yeah.
Okay.
And then the second thing is to, and I think I said that, is to make the vision clear, write it down, and run with it. Um,
Clear vision. Okay.
yeah, I don't think you can sell something to like people cannot be sold out to a vision of yours until it's sold to them, like until they can see themselves as part of the vision.
Of the
Um,
vision. True.
and so if you, and sometimes it's a learning curve because for me, it
Mm-hmm.
it was um it was a challenge to impact the vision onto the people.
Okay.
Traditionally, when people see the work that I do, they in all humility, like they like it. But
Of course, it's
um,
nice. I mean,
yes.
we all know your works are nice, Charlie. No be
Thank you, man.
community matter.
Thank
Uh,
you. Yeah, they like it, but liking it and believing in it are two different things. And so I had to
yeah.
learn to teach people, like to get people to believe in the brand so that they could run with me in building it. And I guess
Yeah.
if you have those two things on lock, everything else would like fall in place as
All
you
in
move
place.
forward. Yeah, as you move forward.
Charlie, nice one. So those who want to do merch things, free
Mhm.
tips, free business advice from somebody who has been doing it for a long while now. Awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah. I know you're also into fitness and gymming. I see you regularly gym. I don't know. It's like my guests like gymming a lot. I don't know. Last person I had on board to
Yeah,
also do gym
Kino.
and stuff.
Kino is my
Yeah, you
G.
know Kino, right?
Yeah.
Charlie, tell me about your gym things. Like, what's the motivation behind it? Because I've been trying to get into the gym, but Charlie, no be me.
Um,
So what's going on
huh.
about? Give us something about, I don't know, health and fitness, because it's a good thing. I mean, you should
Mm,
always stay in shape,
mm,
stay in good
mm,
health, and all that.
mm.
Yeah. What do you want to say to some of us who need motivation to push us to the to the gym?
I guess it's not see the thing about working out is that it teaches discipline. And I believe that discipline is the best form of freedom. When you have
Okay.
the ability to say no to something or yes to something, that is where you are your own. You are your own person because you are not
Yeah,
influenced or easily
that's
swayed
true.
by the wind. And
Hmm.
the easiest way to learn that is through discipline. And the easiest way to discipline yourself is to discipline your body because that's the one stubborn
Okay.
thing.
Yeah, to be
Yeah,
true. Hey,
that's the
to
one
be true.
stubborn thing. So when you learn to discipline your body, you find out that it starts to have a ripple effect in all the other things that you do. You can find that if you're able to stick to a 4 or 5 day regiment in the gym and go consistently and have a diet plan and stick to it, um, because you're trying to reach a certain goal, a certain body weight, or you're trying to increase your strength in a certain way, you find that you're able to
Mhm.
stick to it, you also find that you can easily borrow that discipline into other things that you want to be consistent with and bring you results.
Mm.
So I
Yeah,
guess
true,
that's
true.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. I guess that's the way I tackle it. Um,
Okay.
because in the beginning I also had like shallow, and I don't think it's shallow. I think every reason is valid to
Yeah.
look a certain way. But
Mm-hmm.
when you get to the point where you reach that goal, you find that it has now become a part of you. It's a lifestyle, and you you want this lifestyle to affect all other things that you do. So it's like eudaimonia. It's a goal that you reach, and then you keep setting the bar higher and higher and higher. And that's one of the things you can easily do with, fitness. And so I guess it's just like a gateway drug, a gateway drug to
Yeah,
consistency. Yeah, yeah,
that's
yeah.
gateway drug to consistency.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
That's a very powerful quote.
Yeah,
All right, all right, all right. That's awesome. All right.
yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, I think my next question will be on around business in Ghana. So
Hmm.
you've been running good news and non merchant for a while, right?
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
in terms of the ecosystem in Ghana here, when it comes to business,
Hmm.
in entrepreneurship in general, right?
Hmm.
How do you think we are doing as a country, right? And as a people who want to go into a business like in
Hmm.
Ghana,
Hmm.
what are some of the things you should look out for? Because I know there are lots of advice out there, but it's always good to hear from somebody doing it practically. And
Hmm.
in your case, you said you're doing it for a while. I think I knew you as a designer. I
Hmm.
think from some years back, and then before
Hmm.
I seen it, you are doing uh, merch, you're shooting videos and stuff.
Hmm.
So, what is kind of the things that I mean, entrepreneurship in general? What is the advice you think you should give people? Because that's one thing that we have been misinformed about. Like entrepreneurship
Hmm.
is glamorous. It is this, Charlie.
Hmm. Hmm.
Tell us some of the truth you have encountered over the years
Hmm.
that we
Uh,
should know about.
See, the thing about the country we live in is a lot of us live, a lot of us survive. Not many of us thrive. Um,
Ish.
I'm not doing this on purpose.
I hear
That's
that.
I'm not doing it on purpose at all. But it's the truth because everybody's trying to do a little bit of something just so that they can feed themselves or they can eat or they can have like some semblance of comfort. And
Hmm.
to put entrepreneurship on top of that is very, very challenging. You know,
Yeah,
we are not in a system that supports ingenuity, innovation, creativity. You know,
true.
things are run in a very archaic, traditional way, and even that is not run properly. So to choose
Hmm.
to be an entrepreneur is to choose to be an outlier, and you can either
Hmm.
fall or you can rise. And so for me, I think the currency that has kept me in this phase is the currency of people. And by people, I mean
People.
other entrepreneurs. Um,
Okay.
because typical example, Mandem, when we were about to release it, the 2 days to the event, I
Hmm.
wanted to give up. I
Hey,
wanted to let it all go. I was like, I'm tired. I don't want to
share.
do this anymore. It's taking all of me. I don't want to do this anymore. But then I see the stories of other entrepreneurs around
Hmm.
me, people who I've come to engage with because I went to their screening or their launch or their release or the other. And I saw that they too went through the phase that I went through, but were able to
Honestly.
persevere past it. And so just by the mere knowledge of the fact that, somebody has been at this point as well but was able to go through to get these results is enough fuel for me to, put myself in a position where I too want to do better. Like I too want to
Wow.
survive that phase and thrive. And so I think the one thing that's important as entrepreneurs is to keep a community of entrepreneurs. Like
Yeah.
um Ghanaians are generally considered shy people, but as an entrepreneur, it's not something that you can afford to do. You need to host your
Understand.
other entrepreneurs because
I
yeah,
won't.
host, yeah, because it's not always them giving you something or giving you access to something, but just the insights from the relationship, whether good or bad, would fuel your
Yeah.
journey very well. And it's always something that's intangible. You wouldn't expect it, but you should always search for it and desire it because it's a treasure.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah,
So community and people. Hmm.
community. Yeah,
Charlie, Charlie, that's some solid thing you talk there.
it's the truth.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Okay. Okay. This is interesting. Good so far.
Hmm.
Is there something I have missed that you want to talk about or you want to hint on or something?
Um,
Because like I said, I don't want it to be like I ask you answer like Charlie, free ball, freestyling.
yeah. I think the one thing that I'd like to say, and I think it sounds like a broken record at this point, but as an entrepreneur or as a creative, collaboration
Yeah.
is also very, very important. Um, because
True.
because we are in that survival mentality, it also the downside is that we want to do everything by ourselves and we want to
Okay.
reap all the
Actually,
benefits by ourselves.
for ourselves.
Do you see? But
Yeah.
you find that if you find somebody whose skill supersedes yours in a certain area and you combining with them, you become a force. You reach further because when you think about it, 50% of something is better than 100% of nothing. And that's what collaboration
Okay.
brings. So I think it's important.
Yeah. Not to cut you. I was watching a video that said something similar like that. It said
Hmm.
it's like we want to have a lot of little than to have a little of nothing. I've forgotten the code, but it just say that it's better to have
A little of a lot. Hmm.
of a lot than a lot of a little. So,
Hmm.
for example,
Hmm.
it's best to have 2% of 2 million than to have
Yeah.
100% of 10 cities.
Yes.
Yeah, and the
Precisely.
example that comes to mind is this guy Jeff Bezos.
Yeah.
I was surprised to know that he has like a very low amount of shares, but see, he's a billionaire.
Yeah. He has a
And I
he.
think it's one
Hmm.
thing that Africans or Ghanaians don't like. We want to
Hmm.
own everything.
Yeah.
Like Charlie, try
Yeah.
and share and Charlie, go on, go on. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so that's the thing I want to hammer on Jeff Bezos. If I'm unclear, if you do a fact check on your podcast, but I think he only owns about
Yeah,
11% of Amazon and he's a billionaire,
yeah,
you know. So
he's a billionaire, Charlie.
that's something that we
This
need
is
to
a
embrace like over here. That like
yeah.
of course you have to be discerning and choose who
Mm-hmm.
you collaborate with, but look forward to it. Have an open heart to collaborate with people because you will go further than if you do it by yourself.
By
Um,
yourself.
yeah.
Yeah,
And
he actually has
mhm,
20%.
10%.
Huh.
Yeah, yeah.
Charlie is a billionaire.
10%.
Nice one.
10%. And I think one more thing I'd like to add to that is to educate yourself. Um,
Educate yourself. Okay.
um, as a matter of fact, I was trying to figure out something today, and then I realized that um, because I run knowledge merchants, it puts me in a
Mm-hmm.
position where I have to read a lot. And
You better.
and yeah, and not just reading a lot, like just generally catering to publications and members books and editing all of that and the layouts and all of those things. But I realized that whenever I enter a creative space, it gives cadence to that space because my I call it the eudaimonic bank. My bank is filled from one side and I can carry it over to the other side,
The other side. Ish.
you
That's
know.
some. Mm,
So I read about a phenomenon here in this book, in this story, or maybe Malcolm Gladwell has written something about a dog whisperer and how
okay.
a dog whisperer is able to deal with dogs, da. And then I'm trying to produce a video about something that has to do with neuroscience and influence. And then I find
Mm-hmm.
that, okay, but even though he was a dog whisperer, whenever he met the people that owned the dogs, he taught them how to influence their animals. And
Animals.
he influenced them as well. So,
Right.
and this is not the best example, but how can I carry over that influence into something that I want to do on film and have people be influenced by the message or the story I'm trying to give up so that I can have the impact that I'm looking forward to. Um,
I think I get that.
yeah, so I guess the key is to educate yourself in many areas because we want to box ourselves in. I'm a filmmaker, I'm only going to watch film. But
Yeah.
you read an amazing story and then you realize that, oh man, it's the stories that become the screenplay that become the
Yeah.
film, you know.
Exactly.
Yeah. So you keep your antenna of education wide so that you can receive from many areas and then you can direct it towards the thing that you want to do, basically. Yeah.
Awesome. Charlie,
Mhm,
nice insights there.
mhm.
The brofu you have been saying, I'm going to look for the meaning. Don't worry. So I'm going to what to talk about. So I think our last thing will be on.
Mhm,
So I have this section where I ask everybody top
mhm,
three, top five, something that they do based
mhm,
on what they are doing. Right?
mhm.
You are into books, obviously. So I'm going to ask you, what are your top five recommended books for anybody? You can
Ooh.
range any topic at all because we can't. I don't want us to box ourselves in one. So I'm sure you have your favorite books that you
Mhm,
read. So
mhm,
what will be your top five books? Then maybe if you mention the book, you can mention the category for something. Maybe it's in business, it's in
mm,
entrepreneurship, it's in
mm.
philosophy or something.
Mm.
So let's go top five. I'll show them to on the screen as well.
I read a lot of design books um and either organizational science,
Okay.
organizational psychology, or just novels. So I guess the first book that comes to mind is a design book called A Smile in the Mind. A Smile in the
A
Mind,
smell and the mind.
a
Okay.
smile in the mind.
In the mind.
Yes, A Smile in the
Okay.
Mind. I've forgotten the name of the authors. That's one thing I'm not really great at remembering authors. But A
No worries.
Smile in the
It's fine.
Mind, it just generally talks about witty design and it
Right.
collects it has records of designs from like the 1800s and how it affects the design right now. So that's one of the
Okay.
my favorite books to go to. It's my encyclopedia for design, actually.
Burial McColney or
Yes,
something.
it's a very big
Right.
book. It's a very big book.
Yeah, it looks big. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
The
Next book.
the second design book is Creative Confidence. It's also by two authors. Creative Conf
Creative confidence.
yes, Creative
Okay.
Confidence. Creative Confidence um, draws the attention to the fact that everybody can be a creative. An accountant can be a creative. Uh, a
Okay.
neuroscientist can be a creative. A physicist can be a creative. And it gives methods and learnings to directing your creativity in whatever field that you wanna
You are in.
that
All
you're
right.
in. So there's that. I think the third book is From Third World to First World by Lee Kuan Yew. That is by the
From
president of Singapore at the time, the past
oh,
president of Singapore.
first. Okay.
Yeah,
I've heard that book before. I hear it to be powerful.
it's an amazing book. I think every third world country
Should read it.
should
Yeah,
run.
because Singapore was Charlie.
Yeah,
If you look at how Singapore has come,
hmm
it makes sense
yeah.
for him to write such a book.
It's a
I hope
manual.
our leaders will read it.
Yeah.
Our African leaders will go and read it too. No shade.
Well,
So those
we
are three books.
those are three
Uh-huh.
books. I guess another one is a short book, and this is a recent one that just came into my top books, but it's called Dark Days in Conakry or Conquery. It's by Kwame Nkrumah when he was
Oh,
exiled, when after the coup, where he had to live in Guinea. It really
oh, okay.
it really gives an insight to what was happening at the time and his mentality and the people around him and the way everything was usurped by a coup and how revolution is never the answer because it disrupts the stability. I'm looking forward to
Oh,
doing a film about that book in November.
yeah. Please do it. You want to see it? You know,
Yeah,
there are not a lot of African, how do I call it, documentaries that
yeah,
tell our story,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Like, some that tells about African history,
yeah,
or even take, let's say, a tribe and talk about how they came
yeah,
about.
yeah,
If you want to look for the history of, let's say, England, it's
yeah.
very
Yeah,
common.
very
Like, but
common.
in Africa,
Yeah,
it's hard. So, and the funny thing is that you realize that the ones you find are being done by white people or
yeah,
foreign people, and
yeah,
I'm like, wait,
yeah,
you don't even have
yeah,
any ancestry to Africa, but you
yeah,
have these facts. So what are we doing?
yeah,
So yeah, Charlie, do it, and
yeah.
we'll push on for you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so I'm even looking to approach that particular project in a very interesting way. Um,
nice.
but we look forward to doing it. How many books have I mentioned so far?
Four, one to go.
Okay, I guess The Alchemist easily comes in because that
Yeah,
book changed my life. I read it. I tried to read it. Oh, can I mention another book in addition to The
yeah. Why not?
Alchemist? The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho and Deep Work by Cal Newport. Deep Work by
Deep work.
Yeah, by Cal Newport.
Let me see if I saw one before. Deep work.
Mm-hmm.
Is it a design book or
That is it's more of psychology, but it
okay?
generally speaks
Cal
on
Newport. Okay.
focusing on focus and becoming be just focus work entirely. Yeah,
Right.
focus work.
In a distracted world.
Yeah,
Okay.
in a distracted world. Yeah,
Charlie.
it's one of my
That's
favorite
cool.
books. I read that book at least once a year as well.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's good, Charlie. Reading is good. They always say that if you want to hide something from the African man, write put it in a book.
You know what's funny?
Yeah.
When we
Yeah.
released the first book for Knowledge Merchants, that was the quote we used because we're like, yo, this is what people are saying. this is why we are trying to disrupt that. We are not those people. We are not people like
Exactly.
that. You can't hide things from us because we go and read it. So
We'll
please
find out.
read it.
Sharp,
Yeah,
sharp,
yeah,
sharp. That's a very
yeah. Yeah.
Do you have any book you're reading currently?
Currently I'm editing books actually. Um,
Oh,
I'm editing four books simultaneously actually.
wow.
Um, I think one of them
Me
is
too.
what we're about to release. Up is down and down is up. That book is about
Okay.
the foundation of humility. And
Mm-hmm.
then three other books by my mentor, which I think I'll save that for later. But those books are more entertaining. They actually also
Okay.
explicit. It's actually my first um, editing of explicit books, and I really look forward to people engaging in that particular product. Yeah.
You should
So
send it.
mhm.
You should do it and let us know about it.
Yeah,
Me, I'm also reading. I guess going back to this
yeah.
48 Laws of Power.
30 Laws of
It's on my
Power. I
desk,
read
so I
that.
don't
Yeah,
forget it.
yeah, yeah,
And then I like science fiction a lot, so I
yeah,
realize I like Marvel movies. So
yeah.
I'm reading this book too by Michikaku Paulo
Oh,
Waltz.
that's
It
interesting.
goes into how there's a multiverse, Charlie.
Hmm
Because if you look at how the world works,
hmm
these guys have some. I don't know how they get the idea, but it starts telling you that oh, true, we have a multiverse here and there.
hmm
And I even learned that there are about 11 dimensions
mm
as opposed to what we knew,
mm.
and it's amazing.
Oh,
But the 11 dimension,
no, please go ahead. Go ahead.
yeah, the 11 dimension is not in the book.
Hmm
I heard it from this guy I discovered last week, Carl Benson. I've
hmm
forgotten his full name. He's a Black American,
hmm
and he I think he has discovered something, and he's trying to educate everybody around it
hmm
about how the universe came, and there's some kind of lost knowledge that we don't have.
hmm
Right? It's very interesting. You can look him up on YouTube, Carl Benson. He has a
Carl
book
Benson.
about.
Hmm
Uh, I think he has some. I've forgotten the title. I'll put it in the video if I find it.
hmm
So yeah, it's interesting. I like such kind of things because it makes your mind open up to
hmm
how the universe works. And if you read about the history of the great scientists like Einstein
hmm
and Isaac Newton and
hmm
those guys, Charlie, those guys, I'm very sure had some kind of connection to the spirit realm or I don't know esoteric realm because the
hmm
things that they because it's amazing for you to think and say, hey, why is the universe like this
hmm
and what makes things work,
hmm
right? And for you to be able to have that insight into
hmm
I mean, even come up with the theories, the calculations, the mathematics.
hmm
It's amazing.
hmm
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We all have insights into more than we can see with our eyes. I guess when you open yourself to receive them, you will, to be honest. And reading is one of the sure ways to access that. So,
true,
yeah.
true,
Mhm,
true.
mhm,
All right, Charlie, it's been a very nice conversation.
mhm.
I like when people talk about books and then use big grammar. I don't know for some reason I love it.
There's something I want to share. There's a YouTube page that
Okay.
I'm currently on. It's called
Mm-hmm.
Ideas from the Bible or Bible Ideas, where
Okay.
these two narrators take a topic and they
Mm-hmm.
deconstruct it based on etymology, the current state of the culture of Judas at the time or Israelites at the time, what the
Okay.
authors were trying to say and where they were writing it from. Is very, very entertaining. I haven't listened to Bible stories in such an entertaining way, and they use animations to do it, and like
Oh,
they do it very well. I think I'll share the
do
link with
you
you.
know the name? Sure,
I think
sure,
it's
sure.
called
I'll go there.
Bible Ideas or Ideas from the Bible, but I'm subscribed to it, so I'll share it with you. But it's also something really, really exciting. If I'm trying to read scripture and I want to
Mm-hmm.
consume it in an entertaining way, but then it will stick with me, that's where I go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Apparently, I'm late to catching this train, but hey, better late than never.
I
Yeah.
know, right?
Yeah. So,
Wow.
mhm,
Awesome. I'm waiting for that.
mhm, mhm.
Okay, Charlie, nice to have you. So, today our guest has been Kojo Nyanyue. How I didn't butcher the
You did. You said it well. You said it well. Congratulations.
By the way, because we have said your name was Try Me, so
Yeah.
Charlie, I don't know. I said your name was Try Me because that's what I knew you from.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for coming to the show. Thanks for honoring our invitation.
hmm
Hopefully next sometime we can meet again when new things happen.
hmm
It's not a one-time thing. So
hmm
hoping to bring you back to the show.
hmm
And I think you mentioned some names that I'm going to reach out to them and bring them on to the
Yeah.
show. I
Yeah.
want to talk about what they're doing
Yeah.
because all your publishers, I need them here. Come and talk
Yeah.
about how they
Yeah.
have worked with you and
Yeah.
how we win and all that.
Mhm.
Awesome, Charlie. Thank you. So this is where we sign out,
Yeah.
and then thank you all for tuning in. We'll
Yeah.
catch you again same time on the next
All
video.
right. So thanks for
Right.
having me.
Cheers.
All right. Cheers.
Right, Charlie. Right.
Bye.